I'm Chance McNeely, the Executive Director of the Louisiana Motor Transport Association. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Truck Talk. I wanted to start by letting you know that Governor John Bel Edwards issued a special session call yesterday, and so that special session will begin on May 22nd and go through June 4th. That will be the second special session of this year. Of course, the first one was not successful. So this session is intended to address the deficits that exist for the upcoming fiscal year. It's a pretty broad call, so LMTA will be at the Capitol making sure that your interests are protected. Back to the regular session, I want to do a quick recap. We have had a very active regular session, and I wanted to start with what occurred most recently was HB 901. That was a bill by DOTD and our chairman, Terry Landry, to really try to generate some revenue from the special permitting system. So as it started out, it had a CPI increase there over the next several years. We opposed that bill strongly. The department and the chairman ended up making a lot of amendments that got the bill into a place where we could become neutral. And so we did change our position to being neutral on the floor. What it did in that posture was add $100 to every annual permit, and it added $100 per company if you buy single trip permits. It generated just a couple $1 million, but it was a step in the right direction for an equitable solution. And it kind of would have set us up to hopefully continue this dialogue. But nonetheless, LMTA is committed to a comprehensive reform of the permitting system, and we're going to bring a bill next year to try to do that. Later this summer, I intend to meet with the various stakeholder groups and hopefully come up with an industry-driven solution to the permitting issue that has plagued us for really since the 70s, to be frank. So we also had our seatbelt gag order bill and the phantom medical bill. Those are sort of tort reform-like issues that we pursued this year in an effort to help bring down the rising cost of liability insurance for the commercial trucking industry. Both of those bills failed to pass, and they failed to pass about pretty large margins. One of the bills, the phantom medical bill, when it was in committee, we had 27 green cards and only 2 red cards. Those 2 red cards were from the Trial Attorney Association. So despite the 27 green cards in support, which was broad, everybody in business, that bill failed to get out of committee. We're going to double down on this issue because it's too important to back down on, but it is going to be an uphill fight leading into next year. We also had HB 432, which was Steve Carter's bill that would have created lane restrictions just in Baton Rouge. LMTA opposed that bill on merit. It would have made traffic a lot worse in Baton Rouge. That bill did fail to pass on the House floor, and so once again, LMTA defeated lane restrictions. We supported HB 308, which was about platooning. It would allow for commercial trucks to use platooning technology on our interstates here in Louisiana, and so we're very proud of that, and that's been sent to the governor. We also had a bill, HB 832, which provides that escort companies who escort trucks have to have adequate liability insurance and workers' compensation coverage. And so we want to make sure that the escort companies have proper amount of skin in the game so that the trucking companies aren't overexposed in that dynamic. The last thing I wanted to bring up was waste tires. So there's a bill this year that looks like it's going to make it through the process that recreates the waste tire task force. There was a lot of discussion about, should we end it? Is there any value in having it? At the end of the day, it was decided we should keep the discussion going. I tend to agree with that. It's always better to keep talking. And so that task force is going to be reinstated with a couple new members. I think DOTD is going to be added, and also the Automobile Dealers Association as well. So that's a good thing. Other than that, I will be sending out a full report on this regular legislative session once it concludes. Overall, the trucking industry fared pretty well this regular session, and so we're proud of that, and look forward to heading into the special session, hopefully our last special session of this year. The last thing to bring up is that the annual convention is just around the corner in early August. Be on the lookout for some information coming from LMTA so that you can register and get booked for your hotel rooms. We're excited. We're going to have a really cool agenda for this year, and look forward to seeing you there. So thanks again for joining us for this edition of Truck Talk.